to the Cheaters Podcast, Flaming Hot, where cheaters are exposed and now everybody knows. I am Irma Ruiz, the only podcast host who is immune to kryptonite. I'm lying. But so are all these cheaters. Let's do this, TJ!
Hyperactive animation, elevated figure, got my finger pressed against the dawn. Sentimental beggar, elevating desecration, throwing stones I stood before.
For those of y'all wondering, the Cheaters Podcast is for women or men who want to be able to tell their story because they've already healed. And you know, this is not being a vindictive thing or anything like that. It's about healing and finally talking about the things that happened to us, being cheated on, or maybe even we were some cheaters. Y'all were some cheaters. All right, Miss Michelle, welcome. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you.
I actually, I knew Michelle. I think I met her right before the pandemic, or was it during the?
It was during
the
pandemic.
I think it was online, and at that time, I remember she was just going through a pretty bad breakup.
Yes,
and I remember it was very heartbreaking for you, you know?
Very.
So tell us about that. It was a husband, boyfriend? Tell the audience.
So I was in a relationship for like about 11 years. And so he was
is that magic number.
Yeah, he was my husband. But definitely very crazy. In the beginning, it wasn't like that. And then I don't know. I just feel like the last few years of our relationships were the worst. During the relationship, it just kind of escalated, and then eventually it got worse to the point where I was.
Well, I have a real quick question before we get to the good stuff.
Yeah,
How did y'all even meet? Were y'all like high school sweethearts?
So I was actually dating somebody at the time before I met him. That was my high school like crush, sweetheart. And I got with this guy, and then things didn't work out between him and I. Well, he had a friend, and then his friend had another like childhood friend that he was real good friends with, and that friend of my ex-boyfriend was trying to hook up with one of my friends. So then we were still like hanging out.
This is some Southside shit.
Yeah,
right here.
some Southside shit, like friends of a friend. And now, but he ended up introducing me to my husband, right? And then we just kind of, and it's so crazy because I wasn't attracted to my husband. Like I was actually trying to hook him up with one of my other friends. And I was like, yeah, like let's go out and this and this. And we were just all hanging out as friends. And then I don't know, like it just escalated. Like him and I like became friends. We actually dated for like 3 or 4 months just as friends. And then it just kind of like he wanted to be with me type of deal. And that was it. Yeah. So.
Wow. Okay. So then y'all, he asked you to get married, and everything was good. And when did you realize that things were kind of?
Well, I don't know. Like, you know, even in the beginning of our relationship, he would just, I just felt like he would have these weird tantrums. I don't know. It's so weird. Like that he would be like, we would get into like a little argument, or he would accuse me of something like, of being with somebody or checking out some other dude or something like that.
Red flag.
Yikes. Yes.
No, that's crazy because I hear that a lot. That guys who are cheating are always accusing their wives or their girlfriends of cheating when they're actually the ones cheating.
Yes. And that was so one thing I could say, like throughout my relationship, I was very monogamous to this person. And that was his go-to thing was, oh, you're cheating on me. You're out there being a whore. You're out there being this and that. And it was like, I'm none of those things. Like,
and
where
he's
are you?
Why are you not bringing my money?
I know.
You're being a hoe.
I know. I was like, if I'm going to be out there, best believe I'm going to go make some money, right? I'm going to sell this ass. It ain't going to be for free. I'm a little smarter than that. But yeah, and then like I don't know, like, and then after a while, like I remember. Do you want me to go deep with this or what? Okay, all right. I'm like, okay, let's go deep. I'm like, my mind is telling me no. No, I'm just saying no. But my body, I'm just like, no. But actually, so one time I just remember this. We were driving, and he had told me that I was staring at this guy that was riding his bike without a shirt. Yes, dude, yes. And then he started arguing with me, like all crazy, to the point where like I'm just all cool. I'm like nonchalant, like just minding my business. Just we're going somewhere. And then out of nowhere, like he just backhands me.
No.
Yeah. Like he backhands me.
How long had y'all been married by this point?
So at this point, we were like maybe like 2 years in.
God.
So 2 years in, and then like I just remember we were driving somewhere, and then he just backhanded me, and that was like the first time. And like nobody's ever done that in my life to me. So when that happened, I was just like shocked. I was all like, what the fuck? Like, should I box this motherfucker? Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's.
But then after that, so let me. I'm assuming that was just the first time. Mm-hmm. And it went on.
And then it went on.
9 years. Whoa.
It like escalated, and it got like worse. And I think at the same time, like throughout my relationship, there was like a lot of like manipulation, a lot of I don't know, like it was a very dysfunctional relationship. Mm-hmm. I saw like a lot of the red flags there, and I think in the beginning, like I started to ignore some of this stuff where it kind of became like a little bit in the norm. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, but
so once he hit you, did you do the whole, oh, I'm gonna leave you, and then he did the whole, oh, I'm so sorry, it'll never happen again?
So it was like, yeah, it was the sorries, that's never gonna happen. The next day, I guess he felt like so bad or something. Then the next day he came and he gave me like some diamond earrings. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I guess that was his way of
cubic zirconia.
Yeah, I was all like,
red flag.
The gifts, the gifts, the apologies. Yes, like
don't take this shit, ladies.
Yeah,
don't. Oh my God, I don't know what I would do if that ever happened to me.
I know, you know what? It's
people would die.
Yeah. And I think it's like, I think a part of him like took advantage of like vulnerabilities that he saw within me. Mm-hmm. Like for one, like I've always been like a very forgiving person, like, or I want to make things work, and I think he saw that in me, and he like kind of went with it and like took advantage of that, like, you know what I mean? So when guys, I think when guys are like that, they always look for that vulnerability. Yep. They do.
Like, so when did you start thinking maybe he's being a little shady?
So being shady, like, to be honest with you, like, aside from little things that you get hints from, like the cell phones, the hiding, like for me, like my intuition is very strong. Like I think it was just something I automatically felt. So like this curiosity kind of just struck, and then it's kind of like you're like, something's up. Like I have to look into something.
But there was nothing that he did, or it was just honestly, you think just the Holy Spirit came to you like, check on your husband?
I really believe it's like it was intuition, but I think it's like as a woman, like you start to catch on to patterns. Mm-hmm. Of how they behave, things they do, things they don't do, like how they text you, how they talk to you, you know, like, and I think those are some of like the clues I started to get. And then I started looking through his cell phone. Mm-hmm. And when I started looking through his cell phone, So
where was he? He would be like in the shower or something, and you would like go through his phone, or what?
No. So as a matter of fact, we were actually out of town, right? This is when I first found out. We were out of town, and he had kids, so we took the kids with us. And somebody kept messaging him, and I'm like, well, who's that? Because they were messaging him frequently, and he's all like, oh, it's my cousin. And then when I saw the text, it was fucking emojis, right? Like
heart emojis,
like
from your
little,
cousin.
yeah, like different emojis, and I'm like, your cousin's not gonna be sending you fucking emojis. Or you're talking to a guy, like usually they're like, hey bro, what's up, blah blah blah, like, you know what I mean? It's not like a guily thing to do.
You're not cheating on me, you're gay.
No, I know. And no, you know what? That's what I was thinking. And I was like, no, it wasn't even that. So what he did is that it was a girl. I found out it was a girl because then started looking into those text messages because at first I wasn't looking at his stuff. You know what I mean? Because I didn't think anything of it. He put the name under one of his cousin's names.
Just like the last show.
Yep.
The guys, they always change the name of the person.
Yeah. So
that's the second time that comes up, right, TJ?
Yeah, that's one of the things that they'll do. So I started reading the text and going back, and then you just kind of put everything together. And then I like kind of questioned him, and he was denying it. He was like, "Oh, you're dumb. Like it's nothing. This and this." And I'm like, "Oh yeah,
the gaslighting.
Oh
my
for
God.
real." And it's crazy because
Perfect.
you want to trust those individuals, right?
Yeah.
You want to give that person that you're seeing the benefit. You're in love with them. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And then you start to see these little things but you start to see things on the way they also communicate with you because they're not giving you that attention. Mm-hmm. So you start seeing that attention going elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I believe like when any guy is like cheating on you or anything like that, like you start to see like their text messages are shorter. Their response is longer. Like there's just things going on there. You're like, hey, what's going on? Because in the beginning, you were like this with me. You were like full on 100% like into me. Like, and you could tell when somebody's like that with you. But when you start to feel those things, you know something's going on. Oh yeah. You really do. Their demeanor changes in general. Like, and I think those were some of the big clues.
A different vibe.
You're getting a different vibe. You're right. And you try to ignore it and be like, is it just me? But no, in reality, it's really them.
Right.
It's nothing you're doing. It's something they're doing.
Yeah.
You know,
different. Mm-hmm.
They're different.
Well, because there's another person in the picture.
Yeah.
So, and they're not giving their 100% to you, and they're dividing their time.
Exactly.
And you can tell when you're not getting that 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know how it is when you're starting a relationship, you know how that connection is so strong, and then it starts eventually to diminish. Yeah. But then they start to,
which is a normal thing.
Yeah,
it's a normal thing. But then you still kind of have like that. Even though, you know, being married, you know, 10 or 11 years, you may not be getting the same attention from him, you know, but you can still feel
because they feel comfortable. That's why that changes. But you're right.
Exactly.
You're right. That's more like they start to become comfortable with you, so they don't feel like they need to do all those things to you. But you could tell.
You can still tell the difference.
Still tell the difference.
Less than that comfort.
Yes. And I think those are some of the things I started to notice. But more than anything, it was the accusations. I mean, going from 0 to 100 fast. And it was just like, you know, you're doing this, you're doing that, or you're basically like you're fucking the world. Like you're sleeping around with everybody. Like, and you're just like, what am I? I'm not even doing any of those things. Like, where is this coming from? Like my ex literally accused me of sleeping with, and this is freaking crazy because I think when a person thinks like this, like it's disgusting to me. And I can't even fabricate it. Like his dad, his son, his cousin. He accused me of sleeping with all his family.
Oh my God.
Like all his family. And I'm like, don't you think that's absurd already? Like, who else are you going to add to the list? A dog? Like, shit. Like, I'm being serious. Wow. Like, it was that. Like, I was all like, no, this person really has some.
That's
something going on in there with him.
I don't need to be a doctor to realize
exactly. That. So when and he would go and share these stories like with his family members or friends, and I would be like, I know people don't believe him because it's just crazy. Like I know if a friend came to me and told me like, hey, you're sleeping with my boyfriend, like my boyfriend's sleeping with my mom. Oh, he's sleeping with my sister. He's sleeping with my cousin. Like, wouldn't you turn around and be like, damn, like, is he really
all of them?
Like all of them? Like, no, this is how this person was. And he was like 100% like in his mind that I was doing these things. What? And at the end of the day, he was the one who was always the one cheating, being with other women.
So he was accusing you of being with his family members.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Very. And no matter how much I try to justify it, because in the beginning, like, when somebody's accusing you right away, you get defensive and you're like, what? Like, and no matter what I try to, however way I try to put it to him, he was dead on, like, no, you are doing this.
So, but would he actually go accuse his family members of doing this too? Or he would just like...
Yeah, you know, so he would, but he would never confront them. And I would tell him, like, if I'm doing this, wouldn't you tell somebody something? Like, wouldn't you tell your cousin something? Wouldn't you tell your dad something? Like, and I know, like, in the past, like you said, because I think one of the things he said, like, something must have happened to him. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently, like, he was married before me, and he was with this other lady. And apparently his mom found that girl writing love letters to his dad, and they were actually having an affair.
Oh, so his ex-wife or his ex was having an affair with his dad. So that's why he...
And then he mentally, like, so I guess he just... I mean,
that would kind of screw me over.
Yeah, like, and he just, like, he would always just think that, like, he would be like, you can never be in the same room with my dad, like, alone, or with my brother.
Yeah, so it probably wasn't even you. He just didn't have... He didn't trust his dad.
He didn't trust his dad.
Because his dad...
did those things. Wow. And I think, like, one of the things he shared with me is that I think he saw, like, his mom and dad, like, struggle with that, like, his dad always cheated on his mom and things like that, and she stayed with him, and I think, like, that's the norm to him. And I think he thought that I was gonna, like, put up with something like that and do it. And I think for the most part, a part of me did, because, like, our relationship was more like I said, there was a lot of, like, mental abuse in there, and that manipulation. And at the same time, like, I didn't want to fail, like, on my relationship. I wanted to do whatever I could do to make it work, you know? And I'm like, I just always strung onto that string of hope. Yeah. You know, but sometimes that was, like, in my thing, like, it was bad at the same time. You know what I mean? Nothing good came out of it. But it got to the point where I'm like, I had to step out. It was either that or my life. Yeah. You know, and so the relationship had to end. But I think more than anything, it was just like, there was a lot of stuff going on. Like, even the last few years we were, like, together, he went to another state and remarried another woman. Like, while y'all were still married. Yeah, while we were still married. So that's like bigamy. Like, yeah, that's illegal. He met somebody online. Like, he would meet these women online and he would hook up with them, and they would be, like, all in love with him. What? Like, for real, like, crazy.
But were y'all separated, or y'all were married?
No, we were married.
And he went to another state and
married somebody else.
What?
Yeah.
What?
There was a big thing. It actually came on TikTok. Everybody was all vested into that cheese man. What? Like, for a while. Yes. No way. Yes, it was crazy.
And so is he still with that lady? Like,
no. So he apparently, like, he went to Vegas, or no, he went to California. She was from California. He went to go visit her. They were chatting online for months. He went to go visit her in California.
So what I want to know, how, if y'all were living together, y'all were married, they were chatting online. How did he do it? Like, what was the, like, what did he tell you? Like, well, where was he going?
Like, when I found out about that, like, the whole online thing, I did separate from him. Like, I was just like, go and do your thing. Like, I'm not, like, I was hurt and everything like that, but I was just like, okay, like, he's just having one of his tantrums, and, you know, like, I just kind of went, at the time I went back to my apartment, and I just kind of let him do his thing. And then I found out, like, she started posting stuff, like, on TikTok that they were married and this and this, and I was just like, what? Like,
so how did you find out that she was doing that? Like, did y'all have, like, friends in common or something?
No, I don't even know. So
probably he was the connection. If you were friends with him, and then he was friends with her.
That's something that led me to her profile, and I found out who she was. And then I saw that she was posting, like, reels of them and vacationing and doing all this stuff. And then next thing I know, so they're in California. Next thing I know, days later, they're in Las Vegas. Right? And she's, like, posting all this stuff. And I'm just like, what? Like, what is, I was just like in shock about the whole situation. Next thing you know, they were like, we got married and all this stuff. So he got married, like, in Vegas with her.
Wow.
But yeah, so apparently, like, he got her she came back to San Antonio and she tried living with him. And I guess things didn't work out or something. She ended up going back home, and that was like,
she was probably like, "You're married?"
Yeah. No, she knew. She knew we were married.
What?
And as a matter of fact, she was like on social media. Like, we were kind of going back and forth for a while. Like, just talking smack to each other and all kinds of stuff. But yeah.
Oh.
It was like,
God.
yeah, we were like, everybody was invested into that Cheeseman. And she was going out and saying all kinds of stuff. We were like talking about each other, and I don't know.
That's insane.
It just got ugly. And then after a while, you know what? After a while, that's when I was like, that's it. Like, don't ask me for help. Don't ask me for anything. Like, this is truly the end of our relationship. And I think at the same time, I was
So
like,
was that the only girl that he cheated on you with?
no. So he cheated on me with this other girl too. A
Okay.
family friend. So one of he would go and hang out with his cousins.
Mm-hmm.
They were like a younger crowd. So they were in a younger crowd, and all the time he would be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go over here to visit like so and so," and I would be like, "Oh, okay, it's not a big thing. He's gonna be with the boys or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, this girl was always there hanging out. I started to think like, you're going over there for something else. Like, it started to, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I started to get this feeling like, who hangs out there? Like, who else is there?
Like, he would go to like these parties, and then there would always be that one girl there.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
This girl was always there. And like, I started chatting like with one of their good friends or something like that. And they're like,
With one of the girlfriends of the guys.
yeah, one of the guys' girlfriends. And they're like, that's somebody like that really didn't know anybody else, you know, but I knew her. And so we're just talking, and she kind of started saying stuff like, "Hey, did you know what's called it?" And apparently they were in a relationship. We were married, but he was in a relationship with this girl. So this was his girlfriend.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I found out
That's
about
so
it.
humiliating.
Yeah, it is. And I was
That's
just
so
like,
degrading.
no, but I'm serious. Like, he was out there, you know, he was out there doing some crazy stuff. He also,
Well, yeah, but you were fucking his dad, so
yeah, I know, right? I was all like, damn. And you know what I told him one time? I was like, if that was really the case, like, why would I need, like, if I was really out there, it doesn't matter if it was his family, outside of the family, anybody. If I was out there screwing anybody else, like,
it would not be your dad.
Especially, yeah.
He's you
Like,
times two.
I know. No, for real, dude. I would never, ever. But yeah, no, he even got brave to the point, and I think a lot of the stuff started to be like just to hurt me. And I think at one point he knew that I wasn't gonna, like, he knew I was fighting for the relationship. He really did.
Yeah.
And he would do things out of spite. So there was even a few times where he sent me a picture of him kissing Marilyn Manson. But no, he wasn't really. She looked like him.
Wait.
Marilyn Manson?
Yeah.
Or Marilyn Monroe.
No, Marilyn Manson. She looked
Like
like
a
Marilyn.
woman that looked like Marilyn Manson.
And I was like, yikes, is that a trans? No, I'm being I'm being so serious. So he sent me this picture, and then I sent him a real back. I mean, like a meme back of Marilyn Manson.
Oh my God.
And they look, oh my God. I actually think I still have the picture. And then he did it Pumbaa.
That's
and I was just like, and this girl did look like Pumbaa.
Oh my God.
She was Jenny from the block. I'm going to have to say that one. No, I'm being serious.
Oh my God.
No, but I had all these character names for all his like mistresses or whatever. But he was out there, like, he got brave. Like, he would send me pictures.
What?
He would send me like stuff. He would tell me things. Like, he was just like really doing a lot of stuff out of spite. And then I would leave him. I would leave him for like 3, 4, 5 months, and then we would get back together. And it was just like the same cycle, like, what's going on. And there was a lot of times where I tried digging myself out of that relationship. I really did. Like, it was more like a drug to me. It really was.
So when you would leave him for those 3 or 4 months, would you like open yourself up to dating? Did you like ever start talking to like other guys?
No,
and
to
stuff?
be honest with you, I didn't. I think I was just like, I think I was still like hoping that things would work out between us. And, you know, and I think that was like kind of my downfall, because as a matter of fact, so it took me, after we split up, it took me like maybe three years before I actually started dating and seeing somebody else. Like, So it took me a while, even at that. Like, and I felt like, no, there was a lot that went on in my relationship that I really needed to heal.
Yeah.
And I really needed to, like, feel that value within myself. You know what I mean? And heal. And
because he had devalued you so much.
Yes. And it was not that. It was just like I always felt like I wasn't good enough for this person because they were always out there cheating. There was just so much psychological things behind it, you know? And so even like the weight, God, like when I was with him, I was at my biggest, right? I was like 400 and like almost close to 500 pounds for real.
And that probably had a lot to do with, like, a lot of people self-medicate, like with alcohol.
Yeah.
And probably you were self-medicating with food.
I was, because for the longest time in our relationship, I hated myself. Like I wanted to, like I could say it, like I wanted to eat myself to death. I really did. Like that was my outlet. Like, you know what I mean? Like I did feel like so devalued as a woman. Like and I was, like you said, it was shameful. Like, you know what I mean? Like some of the things he put me through, some of the things I dealt with. And I know people have like their perspective, because people are so quick to say, oh, get out of that relationship, oh, do this. But there's just so much in it, you know, like this is just the surface that you're hearing, but there's just so much that you're tied into, you know, like so a trauma bond almost.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me ask you something. Like when y'all first got married, like what was your weight? And then what was your weight when you divorced? Not that that's important, but I think
when we got married, I want to say I was like probably like 300, 300. And when I finally left him, I was like at 469. And then now I'm like at 230.
Nice.
So 230.
Nice.
So I've lost a lot of weight.
Because I also, not to give him any excuses or anything. I mean, because just the fact that he backhanded you at year 2 in your marriage, like I can just imagine, like you're like, oh shit, and then you probably started eating, and then you got a little bit bigger, and then like he's like, you know, maybe I don't know, you know what? Of course, no freaking excuse, but sometimes instead of a guy just saying, you know what, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore, they're just fucking assholes, dude. Like just cut me off. Cut me off. Why drag me along? Why drag you along? Yeah. Like what is the whole purpose of that? You know what I mean? Like what was the whole reasoning for that?
And I think those
makes
are some
no
things.
sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And I see it like that. Like now that I stepped out of that relationship, like my perspective is a lot different.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things that I wish that I could go back and would have changed, you know. But I've questioned that too. Like, you know, why would somebody do like, and I would even question it myself, like, how could you ever do this to somebody that you say you love? Like when you love somebody, like that's the last thing you want to do to them. Is hurt them like that. And I don't even think he realized how bad like he like affected me. Maybe now he could probably reflect and know how bad he hurt me and what he put me through. And I know, and as a matter of fact, to be honest with you, like he has tried reaching out to me in certain ways, like, and I haven't, like, I'm strong enough that I won't go back to that because I already know what it is. Like somebody who's like that, like they truly aren't going to change.
I just think it's so amazing that a lot of these women, they have like these massive glow ups after they leave the guy. You know, now let me ask you this. Do you think if you had still been with him right now, do you think you would have done the things that you've done to like, you know, change who you are? You wouldn't have, right?
No. I think since we separated, I think like a lot of things have gone like good for me. Like for myself, I've done a lot of things. There's a lot of things I've done that
like
I would have done.
Literally the healing.
Yes, the healing. And I think that
mentally, emotionally, physically.
Yes.
Wow.
Like I think one of the things was because I was real down, I was real sad. I did have that family support, you know, there was a lot of friends that I did lose in that relationship, and family members too that didn't even want to associate me as long as I was in that relationship, because their perspective was like, oh, I don't want to see you suffer like that. Like, I don't want to see you go through those things. And they do turn your back on you. But
well, probably not even that. But honestly, that was probably his goal.
Oh yeah, because they start to separate you from
your family.
And those are some of the things. Those are some of the things, yes, that they start to do. Like, they start to remove people that are
close to you, your friends,
to you, important
your family.
to you, and they separate you from that. They take you away from that, because then they want you to be codependent on them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's where
they want to be in complete control. They don't want people telling you, "Oh, he's a bad guy. Don't listen to him." No, they don't want that.
And that's what it is. Like, that's one of the keywords, is like, they want to have full control over you. And I felt like my ex had that on me. Yeah. Like, he had that control, and he knew, like, you know what I mean? Like, what my weaknesses were. Yeah. You know, and he ran with that. But yeah, no, you're right. That's one of the things they do.
Absolutely. So has he seen you? No, I'm sure he has. You said he's.
So I know he's seen, like, my social media and stuff like that. So he messages me. He actually messages me, but I don't reply back to him. And
how is he doing now? Is he remarried? Does he have a...
No, he's not remarried. No. He actually, as a matter of fact, like, he gets, I don't know, like, he wants to rekindle, like, our relationship, but I won't go back to it. I won't go back to it. And he messages me, but I don't reply to him, because I've moved on with my life. So I have a new little bow in my life.
Yes, I know.
So, but there's just been a lot of change in my life since I left that relationship. And I know sometimes when you're caught up in a domestic violence relationship, sometimes you feel like there's no way out of it, you know? And there is. And I think, like, if you really do stay strong and get yourself out of it, because no matter what anybody tells you, like, it's a change too that you're gonna do within yourself. Like, that has to come from you, because no matter what my mom told me, my brothers, my sisters, my friends, my family, I would not get out of that relationship. Like, I was bonded into that relationship, and it had to come from me to make that change. Like,
so when y'all finally had the final split, was it you that just decided I'm done, or was he just like, oh, I married that other lady, I'm gonna go with her?
It was me. It was me.
Good.
So it took me to leave.
He probably couldn't believe it.
Oh,
he probably couldn't believe it.
No, and I think even now, like, because the old me would be like, oh, let's try to make it work. Oh, let's this and this, and I would be there. If that was the case, I would be probably back with him already. But I can't give him that. There's just so much, it's been torn apart like crazy.
And now you've seen the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, you know what I mean. It feels good, huh?
Yeah, it's different. It does. Definitely, like you said, like, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't have, that I've done now that I wouldn't have done if I was with him. Even, like, the whole weight loss, started caring for myself, loving myself, doing
a little bit of comedy.
Yeah, doing a little bit of comedy.
A little bit of karaoke.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of stuff. So just traveling, enjoying life now. And I think, like, I look
you don't want to go back to that.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to that.
Oh,
I don't want to
go.
Can you
imagine? Oh,
I don't want to be in somebody's control.
In you.
I don't want to be in somebody's control or anything like that. Like, I just want to live life. And everybody who's in a relationship, no matter what, should live life. You know, whether if it's with their partner, fine. But if there's things that you still want to do, you should still be able to do the things you want to do. Like, whether if it's to travel, be with your girlfriend sometime, or your family, and things like that. Like, you know, so those are some of the things I couldn't do, you know, with him. So
you said he's not married or with anybody?
No, he's not married. I think, I don't know if he's...
What, did he divorce that other lady?
So it's because we were married at the same time and he was with her. So it depends, because I think it falls under, like, avoided marriage, because it was, like, bigamy. But
I want to hear her story. I want to know. I want to hear about when she came, because you said she came to live in San Antonio, right? San Antonio. I wonder, what was it that made her think, like, maybe I don't want to do this, and she went back to California?
I don't know. I think, like, they started, like, having their arguments and things like that, and maybe she started to see his true colors. Because I usually say, like, within within the first 3 to 4 months, you'll see somebody's true colors.
Oh, yeah.
It starts to come out. No matter, like in the beginning, I feel in every relationship, there's like a facade to it. Like you want to have this person.
Yeah, you want to be the perfect person.
Perfect. And you want to do everything right and this. But then their true colors will come out. Personality wise, you know, the things, their ticks, like what makes them angry, what their likes or dislikes, like you start to see everything. And then at that time you could say like, you start looking for those red flags and they start showing up, like all those little red flags will start showing up.
You can't hide them. Absolutely.
You can't hide them. Yeah.
Wow. That is so crazy, dude. But I'm loving your glow up, man. Like it feels good to like see you like from where you were at. And I remember you were little, I think right when I met you, you were going through, I remember you posting like on Facebook about you, you know, going through your divorce and stuff. And I was like, oh, that sucks, you know? And then like seeing you recently, and I was like, so when I started the Cheaters podcast, I'm like, I need to have her on. I need to have her on. This woman is healed all the way. Thank you, Jesus. Yes. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, it's healed. a whole different glow, different vibe going on in my life. And you're right. Like I couldn't have done it like, and I think one of the most important things was that healing process, and then just putting myself out there, right? Like
and really, and just trusting God, because I can imagine, like I remember when I went through, here I go talking about myself, like when I went through my divorce, like I remember thinking like, oh, it's the end of the world, God doesn't love me, you know, and then realizing all these years later that God knew what he was doing. He had a plan. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So even though like your ex was like an asshole or whatever with you, and at that moment you were like probably like, God, why is this happening to me? I love him. I want to be with him. God had a plan for you. Yes. You know what I mean? And this is it. Yeah. You win.
I know. I win. I'm like a whole new Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm happy. I know at the end of the day, like he probably wishes like I was probably there sad, miserable, not living my life. Probably, you know, total opposite than what he probably expected me to be, because like the old me probably would have been like that, because at one point I was that person. Yeah. And now I'm like this completely different person, you know, just, you know, being myself, being more outgoing, doing things I love to do. And even with the weight loss, like, because with the weight that I had, there was a lot of things I couldn't do either. So that's also something new to me too. There's a lot of things that I'm doing that I wasn't able to do when I was that big.
Like what are some, give me some examples.
Well, like doing zip lining and whitewater rafting and doing like just fun stuff. Have you gone
whitewater?
Yeah. It's so much fun.
Water rafting there.
Yes. Wow. So much fun. Like just things like that. Like things that, you know what I mean? Just able to get on like carnival rides and stuff like that.
Just like little things that like everybody just takes for you know, granted.
Yeah. When you experience weight loss like as big as I was, and I'm tall on top of everything. Yeah. So then having that weight like was a lot on me. And thank God that I didn't have a lot of like medical issues going on, but you know, like I'm still like very healthy. I'm grateful for that. And then now that I'm able to experience a lot of things.
And you know what? So how much weight did you say you lost? Like 200?
Like 255 pounds.
I'm going to tell you what, you look good, girl. Thanks. You look good. How old are you?
45. I just turned 45.
And the fact that you don't have like, you're not sagging, like I don't want to be gross or anything, but you look good. Like you're not like sagging from your neck, or you're not all wanga and shit. You know,
I'm on.
You look great. Like, you know, like your skin, like a lot of people, they'll lose weight and they look gaunt. Yeah. Like their face just like kind of falls and gets all. Yeah. No, but you look great.
I think like for what it is that when I did my surgery, I did the sleeve because I didn't want to lose rapid weight. So when you do the bypass, you lose a lot more weight in the beginning. Yeah. So I did the sleeve and then I plateaued for a while and then I started eating healthy. Like I lost like my first like 150 pounds, and then I lost like another maybe 75 pounds after. So I was kind of losing the rest of the weight slowly. Yeah. Because I've seen like people who have bariatric surgery, And
they'll gain it.
And it's so, no, they lose it so fast that it does start to age them.
Yeah.
Because I think their skin is not reacting to that weight loss the way it should, like a normal person.
Right.
So the way I lost it was like kind of slowly, like gradually. And I think that's kind of what helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the sleeve, and then after, I think maybe like 10 years later, I had, because I was getting really bad acid reflux, so they went back in and they did the, what was the other, the regular bariatric one,
Oh, the one they tie your, I forgot what it's called.
because there's the sleeve, which is the long one, and then there's
The bypass.
Yeah, the bypass. So I got the bypass, and but I didn't really lose too much weight with that. Maybe like 20 pounds, I think. You know what I mean? But it was because I was getting really bad acid reflux, so they went
And they did that, yeah.
So our lives are pretty similar. You and I have similar lives. I have this thing about mistresses, and I have so many of the ones that I love to hate the most. You know what I mean? And one of the ones that I hate the most is Queen Camilla, the Queen of England. She was basically the freaking Sancha, dude. And she's now the Queen of England.
Yep.
That blows my mind.
That is crazy.
Blows my mind. Like, she was the freaking Sancha, dude. And did you know this? I don't know if you know this, but did you know, TJ, that Queen Camilla, her great-grandmother was also the Sancha to, I think it was King Edward.
No way.
Yes, it was.
Oh my gosh.
It was King Charles's great grandfather, and her great grandmother was a mistress to him, and apparently that's how they met. That she actually went up to King Charles before he was the king, and said, "Hey, my grandmother, my great grandmother was a mistress to your great grandfather. Maybe we could do, And she went to him like that.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, girls like that, like even in my relationship, like like his mistresses. They knew what they were, and they were okay with
shame.
it. They're okay with
shame.
it. They were like, they do whatever they do with them, whatever, and then send them back home.
And did you know that she was actually there at the wedding of Princess Diana and Prince Charles? She was there at the wedding. And get a load of this. She wore white. She wore white.
Oh my gosh.
She wore white to Princess Diana's wedding.
That lady, like,
she's horrible.
Yeah, she is horrible. Like, but she stood there, like, she stood her ground. She, like, knew her place. And at the end of the day, like, I guess they had that. And she would be calling over there. She would be calling, looking for him. Like,
Oh, yeah. No shame at all.
No shame.
Such a horrible man to do that to his wife. And
Actually,
it's so sad because even...
And it's crazy because at the end of the day, they got what they wanted.
Yeah.
Like, they wanted to be with each other. And I think, like, it's a little different just because it's like he has to pick a certain type of woman. He can't just be with that one. But, it's so crazy that he ended up with her regardless.
Exactly. And so that's why I do kind of feel a little bit bad, because I feel bad for Princess Diana because they forced her into a marriage. And she thought everything was great. But he was in love with somebody else already before even meeting her.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't
And the
want
family
him,
knew about
they
it.
didn't want him to marry her, because I guess she, whatever, and Princess Diana was pure. I think Camilla or Camilla, whatever, she already had like kids. She was already married. She was like an ex-wife or whatever. And they didn't want him with her. And, well, he ended up being with her anyways. So they put Princess Diana through all that.
That's what I was going to say. They put her through all that. And, like,
unnecessarily.
Yeah, when it all of that could have been avoided.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or he could have just stepped down. He could have just stepped down from the throne. You know what I mean?
Or
I think that originally...
Look at his grandkids. Or no, look at his kids, right? Because...
Yeah, like Prince Harry.
Yeah.
He stepped down.
Yeah.
His
kids. Stepped down. The guy you mentioned earlier.
Yes, no, yeah, it was actually Queen Elizabeth, King Charles's mother. The only reason she became queen was, I believe, her father was king, but he was a second in line. I think his brother, who was actually supposed to be king, fell in love with I think she was a movie star here in the United States.
And he
stepped down. So then the brother, the second in line, became king. And then because of that, that's why Queen Elizabeth became the queen. It wouldn't have even, she would not have even become queen if that man hadn't stepped down and allowed her father, who was a second in line, to become king. Yeah. And that's why Prince Charles is now, he should have just stepped down. If he was so in love with her, he should have just stepped down and wait. Oh, but then that would have made his sister the Queen of England. Yeah. You know.
But even at that, like, they're so forced because they...
I'm not even sure. I'm gonna have to check on that. I need a little.
We'll run a fact check on that.
Yeah. Point is, she's a mistress.
I know.
And she's stuck around.
Say it right. She's a Sancha.
She's a Sancha. But like, you're right. Why put somebody through all of that? And why affect somebody? Like, I don't know. At the end of the day, you're just hurting them in so many different ways, you know?
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't like to separate, whether it's for kids, finances, things they have tied together, like, you know, stuff like that. But still, it's not even worth it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and now a word from our sponsors. We have no sponsors. So we are looking for sponsors. We're looking for sponsors that would really fit in with the Cheaters podcast. We're looking for divorce lawyers. We're looking for moving companies. What else are we looking for? Lie detector test companies. Fast food places, ice cream places, you know, places that we need to go to when we need to indulge in some food and some sugar. So please, if you are open to becoming a sponsor, please get a hold of me. My name is Irma Ruiz. You can find me at thecheaterspodcast@gmail.com. Okay, so let's talk about something real quick. Which occupation would you say is the most cheating occupation?
Wow. I would say being probably like a waitress.
A waitress?
Yeah. I would say a waitress.
Because they're always getting hit on.
Always getting hit on.
I mean, but if you're working at Twin Peaks or Ojos Locos.
Yeah, you're dealing with people coming in and out of the restaurant, and you're always meeting people. Yeah, so I think that's just an easy hit for somebody who wants to.
I think police officers are the biggest cheaters, and military people. And I don't think I think police officers, because they're just assholes. Not all of them, just 99%. I'm just kidding. You know, I think a lot of, they just have the opportunity to cheat a lot. And I don't know if y'all
military too.
I think it was on the 210 Chismosas that there was actually somebody actually took a picture of a police officer
and they put it out there. Yeah.
A police officer like meeting up like with a girl. And they actually posted the picture, and they were like, "Is this anybody's husband?"
And it went all out.
It had K9 in the back. That's why I love all these like these mom groups, because dude. And have you also seen? There's that Facebook page. It says, "Are we dating the same guy?"
Yeah.
And like women will get on there, TJ, and they'll post pictures of guys that they're talking to. And so they want the women to see, like, is anybody dating this guy? Is he only talking to me? And they'll put the guy's picture on there. Like, if I were the guy, I would feel a little bit weird. I'd be like, oh.
For real, they put themselves with the guy, like a selfie or something.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, is anybody seeing this guy? Because things are too good to be true right now. I just want to make sure nobody else is dating him. So it's like in San Antonio and surrounding areas,
like San Marcos, New Braunfels.
So these women are, and people be posting stuff like, "Oh, he was in my inbox." They'll post They'll post screenshots. They'll post stuff.
So because I think like, oh, that's shitty for that girl to do that. But then other women will get on there and be like, oh, yep, he was talking to me, and he's talking to my friend.
He's in my inbox. So the other day, my friend, my coworker, right? She was saying we went somewhere, and it just so happened to know that my boyfriend's brother knew them or something like that. And then she's all like, "You see that guy over there?" I was all like, "Yeah." She's all, "He was just in my inbox the other day." And so just things like that, like, it's just so crazy because, and a lot of it is like on social media and stuff, but it's just crazy. Like,
yes.
what's out there, like, you don't know. Like, and so when they do post into those groups, there is like a lot of women, because it's so quick. It's so easy for somebody to be in your inbox.
You know, but it's weird because I've seen some too where a girl's like, "Is anybody dating this guy?" And a guy goes, "That guy was in my inbox." I'm like, okay, Jotito.
For
Here
real.
we go.
It's just amazing what you would find in the mom groups.
So if you're interested in coming on the show and talking about your experience, please, again, email me at thecheaterspodcast@gmail.com. Please. Thank you so much. And you guys have a wonderful evening. Stay blessed. And don't cheat, assholes. Thanks.
Elevating desecration, throwing stones I stood before the burning wall.